go figure. I assumed, it'll be fine. Yeah, so much for that.
Yeah, let's make the assumption that that's never the case. Okay.
Testing one.
All right. It says we're live on Twitch.
Yeah, it says we're live on YouTube. I'm pulling it over right now.
All right.
All right, yeah, I sound fine. We fine on YouTube.
Shayna, what's going on, girl? We have to do a re-record because mistakes happened. So you're in for a double episode tonight.
Yep. Sweet.
I blame our mod for not watching.
Right.
Just kidding, Shayna. Love you. All right. Let me pull up Spotify. Actually, I don't want Spotify going.
Spotify.
Okay, you're working on a character sheet. Lies. All right. All right, let's go at this. All right, you ready? Jason?
I'm ready.
Okay, and let's go.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Go. Sweet.
Yeah, well, you're the one that goes first.
No, I had. Hold on. Because I had it on Jan.
This is not January.
Oh my
this
gosh.
This is not January.
Well, you know, it's really funny how think you have everything set and then it's like one little thing. You know.
You know what?
Whatever. Here, let me.
This is all I got to say to you. This is all I got to say to you. Hold on. Where's my thing? Where's it at? There. We'll do this. Oh, that may not work. Hold on. I may just do this. Hold on. Why is that temper? Okay. Obviously, I'm gonna have to spend time this week getting my rewards and stuff done for the thinking thing. I don't know why it's not working. Hold on. Maybe it's because let me go back. Hold on. What do you mean temporary unavailable? No, you're available. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do it this way. This is what I got. This is what I'm gonna say to you. What is it? Twitch points. There it is. And I need you. And I miss you. And now I wonder. I need you, and I want you. Okay, moving on.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
My screen that has the two of us, my screen that has the two of us is like we're both frozen. But I look on YouTube because I have it right here, and we're moving. So I don't know. I just don't like technology right now.
I,
It's not
well,
my favorite.
we're gonna fix that.
Oh well.
Arr!
Do any as of right now? If you do anything, all right. You ready?
Yeah,
I'm
let's
gonna
do
jump
this.
in. You ready, Steven?
Yep.
Okay, here. Hold on. 5, 6, 7, 8 straight. All right, you ready? Okay. Ladies and girls, children, ages, welcome to another episode of the Geek Theocast, where spiritual truths meet animated breakdowns.
Yes, today on Geek Theocast, we're cracking open the cosmic disappointment sandwich Candace Flynn eats daily with the extra mustard of despair and gloom. That's right. Today we are talking about the legendary Phineas Fletcher. Flynn Fletcher and Ferb Fletcher. It's 104 days.
He would still technically be Fletcher.
Leave me alone.
And school comes along just to end it. That's all.
Yeah.
So while we do this, I will be attempting to hold this together with theological duct tape and a lot of prayer.
Prepare thyself, mortals, for hilarity, heartbreak, and hopefully a little bit of holy healing. We'll see how that goes. Segment 1 is going to be Candace Flynn,
so,
the Book of Lamentation in flip-flops.
So as you know, every episode of Phineas and Ferb is essentially the same. If you think of it, it starts with Phineas and Ferb coming up with a beautiful and wonderful invention. And the boys spend pretty much the entire episode building and enjoying their wonderful invention, as their sister spends the whole episode trying to bust her brothers. That is all she's focused on. And ironically, she's the one who always fails to bust her brothers. To tell her mom, look what Phineas and Ferb are building, or whatever. And it's always something so crazy. And Candace seems insane. And by the time she gets her mom there and she's able to really show her, well, something inevitably happens and it disappears, leaving Candace full of disappointment. You know, this disappointment reminds me of Jeremiah's words in Lamentations. Lamentations 3:17 and 18 says, I have been deprived of peace. I have forgotten what prosperity is. So I say my splendor is gone. Can't tell me that doesn't describe Candace perfectly.
Listen, Candace is basically Jeremiah. If Jeremiah had a cell phone and a 5-minute window before doofenshmirtz erases reality, with everything that she experiences, it is definitely a mirror of Jeremiah with a range of emotions.
Yeah. Caught in the longing and letdown. That sounds familiar. Longing and letdown. Where have I experienced for? Oh, that's right. Anyone who spends 5 minutes in ministry will get to experience that.
Hey, listen. Some of us started with scrubbing toilets and we were promised to preach from the pulpit. I'm just saying. Okay, and other things. But seriously, like here's the basic rundown. You believe, you have hope, and then you're ignored, then you explode internally, you eat waffles, and Candace lives this every day. It's an issue.
That's true.
In my head, I want to make a machine that recreates the disappointment of showing up early to a church potluck and all the brownies are gone, or your mom's fluff. your mom's fluff and Dr. Pepper cake. I'm just saying. If one of those is gone, it's a terrible potluck.
Dr. Pepper cake, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. That does sound bad. Showing up early, the brownie's already gone. Who does that?
Monsters.
I
Monsters
mean,
do
in real
that.
life, the enemy loves to sow doubt through delays and unmet expectations. Yeah, that's true. Uh, Proverbs 13:12 reminds us hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. We uh, we have those delays, those unmet expectations, those disappointments, and yet, oh, it hurts. Oh, does it hurt? Especially when we think we have it figured out,
Yeah.
and it turns out we don't.
Yeah. See, Jason, what if Candace's spiritual gift is really persistence? She's basically a disappointment disciple.
And yet she never quits. And that interesting. No matter how many times she has failed, she never quits. I mean, think about it. That's kind of where grace begins. Right there. To keep at it daily. I mean, that's like what, 104 times she's failed? Essentially 104 times she's failed. And yet, actually more than that now.
Yeah.
And yet, she keeps it up. She keeps trying.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like David. Um, like Psalm 13, for example, says, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" It sounds very disappointing. Lord, why have you hid yourself from me? Why am I feeling this way? How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? Come on, come on. Now's
It's
the time. Can you show yourself?
it's
Can I
kind of like
experience your fullness now?
it's kind of like David and Candace equal, is musical theater for the soul. Also, Agent P has never let us down, Jason. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah. I mean, disappointment does invite reflection. It's uncomfortable, but it's sacred. And here's the crazy thing, Stephen. I don't know if you realize. I'm sure you have. He doesn't erase what hurts. In fact, he redeems it. Even through our disappointment, the Lord does something special. And life is full of disappointments. I've been disappointed. Recently, I was disappointed. And I just had to say, all right, Lord, here's how I'm feeling, but I'm going to trust you. And you know what? The Lord is gracious and he is faithful and he helps us get through our disappointments. That's pretty awesome.
All right, Jason. So we got a little section here called Steven's Trolling Games. You ready? So we're gonna go through this list.
All right.
Okay. This person lost everything, never caught a break, but still was faithful.
I'm going to guess that was Job who lost everything.
There we go. There we go. It was
That was full of
definitely Joe.
disappointment,
Oh yeah.
full of pain and sorrow.
All right, Jason, I gotta pause real quick because I gotta let Tiana out. I'll be right back.
I will. Maybe.
In the meantime, talk to chat.
If my computer lets me. No. I have YouTube up and nobody's on YouTube. I wonder what happens if I pull up Twitch. Where's Twitch? There you are. I'm switching over to Twitch. Let's see who's in Twitch. Here we go. We're loading. We're loading. There we go. we go. Hey, there we go. This is an ad. Wow. Trying to catch a break. Talk about disappointment. I'm disappointed in you, Twitch. I'm just trying with chat, and yet. All right. All right. Well, this is fun. Let's see. I'm going to. There we go. I'm a catfish, half cat, half fish. Shh, don't tell Sora. I will not tell Sora anything. I don't have to tell him anything, do I? Wait, if you wrote that like a while back, I'm just not seeing this. Anyways. Oh, I'm trying to figure out what I want to say. I guess I could sing something like, I'm not very good at trying to waste time, I guess you could say. Maybe I. All right. Say something. I don't know. Sing something. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Standing on. Bum, bum, bum. Exactly. He still doesn't know, and he never will. Zoop, my lips are sealed. Hi, Steven. How's it going, buddy?
You know what? Bless your heart. That's all I got to say to you. Oh,
Yes, bless your heart, darling.
yeah. Okay, where were we? Round 2. Clap, clappers, clap, clap. Jonah.
Round two.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What about this one, Jason? Ran from his
Well,
calling,
thanks for telling me.
Yeah, ran from his calling, got swallowed.
You already told you
Okay, so
you
I
already
did.
said it was You already said it was Jonah. You're like Jonah. All right, this guy ran from his. I'm like, you just told me what it was.
Okay. My bad.
I am paying attention.
My bad. Okay. What about this? He denied, doubted, disappointed, and still built a church.
Well, if I'm Catholic, I'd say it's the first pope, but I'm not Catholic, and I don't think he was the first pope. So, but I'm gonna still guess Peter, aka
Okay.
Petros, which means the rock.
All right.
If I'm Greek, yeah, in Greek it's Petros.
You know, there's many that would argue that Naomi, her heartache was intense. Like in her heartache was intense. Her bitterness was real. Like it says in Ruth 1:20, where it says, "Call me Myra, because the Almighty had made my life very bitter." And still, God authored legacy through her pain. And it's kind of interesting to note, Jason, as you've told me countless times, that Ruth never calls her Myra. It was always Naomi.
Mara, yeah, yeah. You can. It's funny because yeah, she tells Naomi, "Call me this, like call me bitter," and Naomi's like, "I'm not gonna do that. Like I don't care who you are. I ain't calling you bitter. You got better things, girl. You know, you may be older, you may be my mother-in-law, but I ain't calling you bitter." And she never did. It's true. That's amazing. I love. That's one of my wife's favorites. She loves the Book of Ruth, and that's one of her favorite things is the fact that yeah, Naomi or Ruth never called her Mara. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so you know what I've discovered, Stephen? A lot of times when we go through disappointment, we'll pray and we'll seek the Lord, and sometimes it feels like God is silent. And I know for a lot of that silence makes them believe that God's not there, or God's just ignoring them. But That's not necessarily true. I mean, not necessarily true. That's not true at all. Um, you know, I mean, like Candace, all right? Like if she were a biblical figure, I know we're talking about her. If she were a biblical figure, her arc would end with her finally being believed, but not before she learned deep peace. She would kind of like a good story, I mean, the Lord's a great storyteller, and that's what a good story does. No one wants a character who just like in this case, Candace. It's not like she's just gonna the first time she's trying to bust her brothers, like it just happens, and okay, we're good, and life moves on because that would be boring. But part of a good story is like having that character development, right? And that's what works in us is that character development. Like we don't just wake up one day and just automatically have this, or we're a much better person or anything like that. Like we have to go through those times, and that's exactly what I believe what Candace does is she has to be developed. She has to go through this, and as she does, like before you know it, she would have inner peace, and she would just be like, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. It, I think what you're trying to say is if Candace was a Bible character, the real invention isn't in Phineas and Ferb's backyard, but instead in Candace's heart.
Exactly. I mean, she shows us that disappointment may be loud, hope is louder, regardless.
It's kind of like Doofenshmirtz. He built hundreds and hundreds of machines, and none of them worked. Candace tried to reveal the truth and was ignored. But neither of them ever gave up.
But
They kept trying. They stayed weird. They stayed loud. So should we.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, in fact, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I mean, the episode's been out for a while, but what's crazy is there's actually a new episode, one of the new episodes, where we discover that Doofenshmirtz and Candace have the same therapist, who finally connects the dots that Perry is connected, that their stories are connected because they both mention Perry. Uh, and so through all this, he comes up with all this proof how they are connected and how Harry is this secret agent. And so he's going to expose him. They're in this big thing and he's going to expose it and all that. Uh, and one of Doofenshmirtz's inventions just off and ends up knocking out, completely making everything disappear. So that whenever they pull the curtains, what's there? It's just Perry, with nothing. And he looks crazy now. And the audience just laughs at him. And as he just continues to try to convince them that he's telling the truth. But it's kind of funny because for Candace, she's like, yeah, that's the norm.
Right. You know, like here's the thing. Candace, we believe Candace's story. We also believe Agent P. We believe in purpose. We believe everything, no matter how hard,
Yeah,
no matter how difficult it is, there's a purpose for it.
absolutely. And most of all, talking about believing in things, most of all, we believe in redemption. That's the beauty of it.
Well, guys, thanks for joining Geek Theocast today. Hit that like button, drop your favorite Candace meltdown below, and remember, don't lose faith just because your invention disappears when mom walks in the room.
It's true. No matter what, even if you feel unseen, just know that you're seen by God, even in the in between, even when you're full of disappointment because you feel like you're about to succeed and then something happens and it just magically disappears for whatever reason.
Until next time, guys.
It's okay.
It is okay. Until next time, guys, stay geeky, stay holy, and remember disappointment isn't the end, it's the beginning of faith. Until next time, it's been a pleasure having you at Geek Theo podcast. Stay nerdy, stay awesome, and Excelsior.
Excelsior. Bye, everyone. Make sure you follow us.
And end of first episode recording. Da 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 da. Definitely the ba 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 ba, and there's no candy in my me rap. Yep. All right. It's a long night of recordings.
It is.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just do a quick pulse check before we get into this. So I have some really cool news that I got to share with Jason this past week. Dan Poffenmeyer, who many of you guys know, is the creator of Phineas and Ferb, liked one of my replies I did to his video, and it made me so happy. Like, I am hoping that my idea happens, but I will find out. So,
Well, and tell us what it was.
So my idea was, okay, so it's basically oh, what's the guy's name? The bully.
Buford.
Yeah, Buford, thank you. It was basically Buford looking nervous and having a hand over Ferb's lips. And I said, it's obviously Ferb's about to spill the beans on Buford's crush. And Dan liked it, and I thought that was just so cool. The fact that, Dan Poffenmeyer, the creator of the show, liked my tweet because it was something cool. It really made me happy. I was ecstatic. In other news, I'm going to talk about this briefly, just because, guys, pray for me. I had a phone call from my ex-wife today, and let's just say there's stuff that's the divorce is starting, but there's stuff going on in the background that I'm not nervous about, but just really ticks me off, and I get angry about it. Once the divorce is finalized and everything's done, I'll talk about, I'll talk about what led to the divorce, talk about my response to it, and and I'm sure Jason will have his 2 cents in it as well about what he saw as well. But we'll keep it biblical in that whole concept.
Maybe.
Maybe. You may keep it biblical in the concept.
No. You said I would share my 2 cents. So
I said I said may share your 2 cents on it.
I know. I'm agreeing with that. I'm sorry. I'm drinking my coffee. No comment.
That's
by Michael Scott, world's best boss. And what's really funny about this mug, just like Michael Scott, I bought it myself.
That sounds about right for you.
I love me The Office. Yeah.
All right. Jason, you ready to get started in the next episode?
All right. Hey, what? Well, hold on. What?
Oh, sorry.
On, what about me? You got your pulse check. What about me?
Do you have a pulse check?
Kind of. I do. Man, I had something last week when we originally recorded the first episode, and then I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, No, I so my wife and I got pallet size from Arcana. We got it half off, which was greght, and so
Oh
we
yeah,
played it the other night with pre-built decks. I know some people don't like it. I liked it. I thought it was all right, easy, wasn't too bad. Yeah, it was fairly easy. So, but I want to play again, but this time I want to use my own deck because my own I know is much better than the other one. But anyways, no, I feel like I had something else and I don't remember what it was. So that's okay. Anywho, no, life is good. Life is
good.
good. Jesus is good, and it's always fun to be geeky, be nerdy, and yeah. Well, I don't know if I should share this because I know what it's gonna do to Steven, but I saw some pictures. Now they really didn't show anything. Like it didn't really do anything, but they are filming The Magician's Nephew, the very first Chronicle.
Mm.
If you can't see it, he's just biting his tongue. I'm surprised that like his tongue hasn't fallen off because he's by hard. They're doing The Magician's Nephew. You don't see anything. Like you see some of the characters and it just like it's 1950s like anyways I saw it and I had to say
Magician's
I wonder
nephew.
what Steven would
The
think.
the magician's nephew
Again,
happened
it
in the
doesn't give any
1930s.
okay maybe it was 30s. No, I
Because
think it's like
the
I don't know.
well, okay, here's why I
Anyways,
say that. Here's why I say that. So, timeline wise,
well
magician's
yeah
nephew,
I know why, go ahead.
the magician's nephew took place prior to the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And the main character, I forget his name off the top of my head, in the magician's nephew was at the age of being a grandpa, which really means that the magician's nephew happened actually prior to World War One. Um, Sometime in the late 18th century. Uh, in any case,
Yeah,
that whole if they mess that up, I am going to be royally ticked off. Uh, I'm already worried about
well
the
I don't want to
new.
misquote it. I want to say I saw it.
I'm already worried about them screwing up the Chronicles of Narnia with Meryl Streep as a stinking Aslan. But like, if they screw up the magician's nephew, it mm, I'm nope, 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 no good can
Well
come
I
from
can already
this.
tell you fails. Well I can already tell you I already know the playbook. I mean it's just common sense. If it fails and it kind of seems like it's already on that trajectory,
Oh God.
they're going to say that it's because there was a female as the director. Forget the controversy, forget that. They're just going to simply say, well, it's because of a female director. And the answer would be no, that's not the case. It's like when certain movies failed and they say, oh, well, it's because of a strong female lead, like She Hulk. Oh, it's because there's a strong female
No, 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 no.
lead. And it's like
The whole reason She
female lead.
Hulk
Just like in
failed.
this case, if that's the case, I know why it failed.
It was because of the woke mindset.
It
It's the
because,
same reason Ironheart
but what I'm
failed.
saying that, and I know, and that's what exactly because oh well it's because of a strong female lead. No, that's not the case. You know what one of my favorite movies is? Wonder Woman. You know who it is? A woman. Yeah, my daughter loves Wonder Woman. I mean, she hasn't seen the movie, but um, it just if you have a good movie, I don't the first Wonder Woman. Check this out. The first Wonder Woman, the lead, a woman. the do you think we really care if it's a man or a woman who's doing this? I mean, okay, casting, yes. Like if they didn't get a woman to be Wonder Woman, then that would be different. But like the whole thing about uh like a female director, that's not the case. You know, just like okay, hey, we didn't talk about this because here's something that happened this summer, and I know this is kind of way off topic, but kind of on topic of what we're saying. You know what looks not going to fail? They announced a month or so ago about the Legend of Zelda, the movie. Okay, a lot of people. I say a lot. There is a decent sized group of people who wanted. I think their name is like Hunter. It's a trans woman, so it's a dude
Are you kidding?
who
Okay.
is a trans woman, and these people wanted this person to be Zelda because they said, oh well, they look like Zelda. They had one thing I think showed up to one premiere or something dressed Zelda. Okay, and people said, oh well, this person should be Zelda. But Nintendo, the main Nintendo dude was like, no, we're gonna cast this person. And now people in America are like, oh well, we should get rid of, this guy should resign. How dare he not pick who we want to be Zelda? And it's like, yeah,
Okay,
I
but
don't think that they really care because if they know if they get a person who's not a biological to play a role, the film, I guarantee you, is going to flop. On top of that, this is based in Japan. Japan, I should say, is a very conservative country.
oh,
So
super
they know what
conservative.
they're doing,
Yeah.
So same, right. So but that's what I'm saying. I have more faith in the Legend of Zelda. They're going the right way uh, compared to Chronicles of Narnia, where they're getting a female to be the voice of Aslan.
Okay.
Now,
Don't get me started on that, Jason. Just
can
don't.
can they use can let well? I'm just saying. Like okay. King of the Hill just came out. Like the new season came out. By the way, if you're a King of the Hill fan, you gotta watch it. Like it's amazing. It's gotten like 10 out of 10s, right? And that's exactly what I would rate it. Um, but like a female does the voice of Bobby. That's fine. If you're a really good voice actor, then that's fine. But I also feel like it means something different because of the fact Aslan was originally a a a portrayal of Christ. If this character wasn't the portrayal of Christ, then that's one thing. But it's not that's not the case because it is a portrayal of Christ. That's why I feel like get someone like a Liam Neeson who has voiced Aslan before and did a phenomenal job. Get someone like I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
But
or
I think it's just a matter of getting someone to for controversy and then a cry foul when it inevitably fails, and it seems like it's going to, guess what? That's not going to change the fact that you brought this on yourself because you had some crazy wild interpretation that you felt like, well, this is how we should do it. No.
in in my mind, okay, and this is my mind, strictly my mind. I firmly believe that if you're going to hire a director and a casting agent and producer for this film, for this series, make sure that they understand the lore, the story, and are super accurate to it. Because honestly, if not, it's going to
Yeah.
fail. Like, you cannot have woke mentality
Yeah.
in stinking Narnia. I mean, look what the Power of the Rings did. They tried to do that with Lord of the Rings, and the fans went ape.
I haven't even seen it, and I don't even care.
Like, okay, so Tolkien.
There's
If we're like, I know we're getting off topic, and I at this point I don't care. You brought this on yourself, Jason. This is your fault, and I'm getting on my I'm getting on my stinking.
I know I did.
Yeah, like you this is completely your fault, and you have to acknowledge this. If you're going to stink and do a series that has such anthology and morals and studies, and the author at one point was a radical atheist to the point where he wrote probably one of the best apologetics books in the past 100 years called Mere Christianity, that even like with all my with my Bible training, I still cannot process everything he's thinking talks about because it's so in depth. If you're going to do that and then you're going to go, oh, but we're going to
It's a
bring
good
what?
book.
Yeah, it is. It's a really confusing book though. But like, if you're going to do that and you're going to blame all of, you're going to put woke theology and woke mentality and everything's okay and all this other nonsense. No, 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 no. Just end me here. They did that with the Power of the Rings, and
Yeah.
again, another theologian by the name of J.R.R. Tolkien, who was best friends with Lewis, who actually helped convert Lewis to Christianity through his writings. Again, I say to you that the stinking, like, that when they brought wokeness in, they basically failed Tolkien. They 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 screwed up the franchise. And they wondered, okay,
Yep.
well, everything's going to be okay. No, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not.
Yeah. You you can't really change source material too much and call it the same thing. If if I if I said I'm all right, my grandmother heard I called her Grannis, okay? If I said I'm gonna make uh I'm gonna make Grannis cookies the way my grandmother made them, but I totally change up everything. That's not can I really call it the same thing? Well,
You
no,
can't.
because I and they're gonna taste different. If you're gonna call them, if I want to make cookies like my grandmother, I'm gonna use her recipe. I'm not going to, I might use a different brand, but I'm not really going to like, instead of white chocolate chips, I'm gonna use dark chocolate chips you know, uh, instead of milk, I use almond milk, and instead of, this ingredient, instead of using sugar, I'm going to use Splenda or Sweet and Low. Like it's just it's not going to be the same. And people wonder, well, why don't people like this? Because nobody likes this. This isn't what we asked for. If you're going to make something, like make it at least somewhat close to source material, or just say, you know what? It's just, I mean, okay, it's another interpretation of this, but don't get mad when your interpretation of something is so far out there, so crazy that people don't like it.
Yeah, I'm mad.
Anyhow,
You're,
well, this has been fun.
and welcome to our TED Talk. That is probably just going to be another episode after I get through editing it, in all honesty. But without further ado, let's
Real.
yeah. Or just tell us to watch the 2005 version. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. we're gonna record. We're gonna record this, but before we record this, everyone go watch the 2005 version of Chronicles of Narnia, and we'll all be happy and forget that all this existed. There, I feel better.
For real.
All right, let's get into this. All right, Jason, you ready for the second
All right,
one?
let's dive in.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Grab your jar of pickles and your favorite weather app today, because today we're talking about Cloud's grief and Phineas and Ferb again.
Steven, why pickles? What do pickles have anything to do with this?
Everything, bud. Listen, because sometimes life is sour, sometimes it's crunchy, sometimes it's so you just need a weird snack to get through a Cloud Mom episode. Yeah.
Well, welcome to Geek Theocast, that's for sure. We unpack spirit truths in cartoons, and sometimes I guess we eat imaginary pickles. Wait, are they slices? Are they spears? Are they butter pickles? Are they dill pickles?
You know what? I'm going to go with
I don't know.
use your imagination. Okay?
Okay.
And listen.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because, you know. And we actually, and this is also where we convince you that the Weather Channel is actually a grief counselor in disguise.
Talk about this. In Phineas and Ferb, season 5, episode 1, one of the new episodes, actually. I believe second episode of the new. I mean, it's the first episode, but it's the second episode of the first one. Anyways, Candace's mom, Linda Flynn Fletcher, turns into a cloud. On the surface, it's cartoonish, but if we really stop and we think about it, it kind of opens a deep metaphor about loss.
And before you say it, it's just a kid's show. Remember, Jesus used parables, simple stories to teach eternal truths. Clouds show up in the Bible a lot too.
Yeah. For example, in Exodus chapter 13 says that God led Israel through the wilderness in a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. By day they had the cloud, and that cloud wasn't absence, but a visible sign of his presence. Remind them, this is who you're following. You're following the Lord God, who's leading you where you need to go.
So mom didn't vanish; she just upgraded to Old Testament divine realness. Then,
Sure, I guess. I guess. You know, losing someone central, someone important to you, can really shake your identity. And Candace's reaction, looking up and searching and all that, really is deeply human. That's what makes it so important. How we can connect, because that's probably what we would do. You know, it's how we would feel.
right? It's kind of like in John 16, confused and scared when Jesus said he was leaving, but he promised the Holy Spirit would come back to guide them.
Yeah, he told that to the disciples and all that. And John 7 tells us that sometimes what feels like loss is really a preparation for something new, a new kind of presence, I guess you could say.
So grief is like a hard drive crash. Then God upgrades you to cloud storage.
I guess it's not the worst analogy. But Steven, what happens when those pillars in our life, like a mom, a mentor, or a stabilizing presence, what happens when they collapse?
Okay, so brace yourself on this. This is where the cheese puffs come in. When the pillars fall, it's easy to feel unmoored, vulnerable, opening the door to addictions, or unhealthy coping. It's actually how I actually developed PTSD. Kind of like, binge watching
Okay.
cartoons or hoarding pickles or building a 5,000 piece Lego set in 2 days instead of taking the week it normally should take to deal with the grief of losing my father and grandpa. But we're not talking about that. Look, in Proverbs 25:28, it says, "A person without self control is like a city with broken down walls. Without those walls, anything harmful can sneak in." So losing a pillar is very much like someone breaking your front gate, inviting all the bad neighbors in. Vices might seem like quick fixes, like alcohol, drugs, pornography, anime, cartoons, video games, whatever. They may seem like quick fixes and band aids put over the patch, but they're only there to mask the pain and it's only temporary. It's like trying to patch a leaky roof with a cloud. Cool look, but still wet. In 1 Corinthians 13, it says, it reminds us that temptation is real, but God provides a way out. Real restoration comes through leaning on Him, not on quick fixes. So the Cloud Mom isn't the end. She's a symbol of a higher kind of stability we're invited into.
Wow. Yeah. Ecclesiastes 3 tells us that there's a time to weep and a time to laugh. And grief doesn't erase. It's there comes a time where life's gonna just stink, and what do we do? We want, if you think about it, we want life to be all rainbows and butterflies and unicorns, but it's not going to be. We're going to grieve. I mean, there's a lot of grieving in the Bible. Um, that's just that's how it is. I mean, one of my absolute favorite um, one of my absolute favorites in the Bible, actually, one of my favorite, I should say, verses in the Bible, John 11:35. Jesus wept. Two words, shortest verse in the Bible. Actually, it's tied because I believe there's somewhere else where it's only two words. But it shows that even Jesus was human. He grieved when Lazarus died. Like, Jesus was sad. Jesus was upset because that was his friend. When he saw the grief of Mary and Martha, Lazarus's brothers, I mean, Jesus knew what he was going to do, but
Lazarus'
yet his heart
sisters.
was still broken. Yeah, yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said brothers.
Just full of grief and like, huh. Anyways,
sorry.
yeah, no, I could have sworn I said sisters, but maybe. Anyways, he saw their grief, and like that saddened him. So I mean, Jesus knew who he was. Later, I mean, he tells Mary, uh, Martha, he tells one of them, do you believe you'll see your brother again? Yes, at the resurrection. And Jesus says, I am the. So like Jesus knew all this, and yet he still grieved. There's a time to weep and a time to laugh. Life's not always rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. We're gonna have those tough times, especially with the death of a loved one.
Yeah.
But the Lord gets us through it.
Which is good because if my mom turned into a cloud, I'd be laughing at all the your mom weather jokes. Granted, my mom would
Right.
also probably turn into a
See,
hurricane
I
and
can't
whip
say
the crap out.
anything. Well, good thing. Good thing. I'm pretty sure I'm on your mom's good side. So I think I'm okay with that.
We'll call her
But
later and find
humor.
out.
We laugh at this, right? But humor is a way to carry that pain without being crushed by it. Paul in Philippians 4 models contentment even in hardship. Sometimes using irony to cope.
Yeah. I mean, Philippians 4 says, starting from verse 4, it said, Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. And in everything you do, prayer and supplication of the Most High, and a peace beyond all understanding will come upon you. You know,
Yeah.
that verse has helped me out so much. It being able to let things go. You know, humor is a way to carry pain without being crushed by it. Um, Paul, like I said, it's just kind of the way it is. Like when my grandpa died, I told Jason the story of the nerdy way he died. It's absolutely funny, but only for those who actually know my grandpa and me, my relationship. You know, David in the Psalms moves between sorrow and dancing, grief and joy can live in the same heart. Like the story where I think it was like his first son, you know, his first son dies, and beforehand he was mourning and crying, pleading for his son, but the next moment after his son was, you know, died, he was like, okay, God, you're still in control, you're still God.
In Hebrews 12, verse 1 talks about the great cloud of witnesses, believers who have gone before us, cheering us on. It's like, I know when I was a kid, hearing something like that, I literally imagine everyone being a cloud, cheering you on. Yeah, good job. Like, whoa, who said that? Oh, it's a cloud. Like clouds are talking. Like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. A cloud talking. Not necessarily what it means, but they do kind of like clouds that are there, that are always watching, cheering us on. And that's what we got.
So we're not alone in the race. We have spiritual backup. We have angels that are for us, that will help us fight against these things that will stop us. As a matter of fact, here in a month or two, I'm going to Jason's church, and I'll be talking about this exact same subject pretty much, won't I, Jason?
You, through all of this, the reality gives us strength to keep running, even when grief feels. Sometimes it feels crushing. It feels like it's crushing our soul. It's crushing us uh, emotionally, mentally, which kind of affects us physically and, especially spiritually. But, just knowing that we have this great cloud of witnesses kind of just helps relieve the pain, helps us to know uh, we'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Yeah, like here's the thing. Candace carries her mom's presence with her, like running with an invisible but soggy coach.
Galatians 6:2 says to carry each other's burdens. And in this way, you fulfill the law of Christ. One of my favorite verses. It's what Phineas and Ferb do for Candace by helping her create sky art.
Or in this case, help save their mom. In Deuteronomy 6:9, it encourages us to set reminders of God's truth around us. Memorials matter. So cloud art is basically scripture approved.
Yeah. And what's really cool about all of this, even with this, spoiler alert, they find a way to get their mom back human. And it all works out. But for
No.
those moments, Candace is very but especially Candace is worried, what's going to happen, what's going on, all this uncertainty.
Yeah.
I think she does kind of prepare herself for what's to come, but that's okay. But through all of this, there's a few things that, going back a little, there's a few things that, Scripture teaches us. Again, that God's presence can take on new forms, that loss can prepare us for deeper presence, that when those pillars collapse, temptation to unhealthy coping is real, but God offers a way out. Thank you, Lord. That it's okay, that grief and joy can coexist. It's not like one or the other. It's, well, you can have both. You can experience both at the same time. We're also reminded that we're surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, and you ready for this, Stephen?
Mm-hmm.
Community carries us. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Go ahead.
also why it's it I think that's also why it's important that when we go through a loss or when we are facing a hard time, it's easy. A lot of people find it easier to just kind of back away from others. They kind of isolate themselves, and that's not good. If Especially when you're in a more vulnerable, isolation is not what you need. um if you I was telling this to Melinda the other day. uh I forgot what we were talking about. We're talking about Christians who don't go to church, who say, oh well, I'm okay. you know the Bible says the enemy prowls around like a lion, right? If When lions go hunting, you know who they go after? They don't I mean, they start to chase the pack, but eventually, if there's like, let's say they're they want zebra tonight, so they're chasing a pack of zebras. If there's a zebra who gets away from the pack, that's who the lion goes after, because there's strength in numbers. And they know, well, if this one's by itself, it's much easier for me to catch this one and get what I want than if I was just to keep chasing the pack. And so, for anyone who's dealing with grief, or just for future reference, when you face grief, don't isolate yourself, because that's how the enemy gets you. He'll convince you, oh, you don't need church. Oh, you don't need these people. Oh, you don't need this or that. You don't need the word of God. You don't need this or that. And we end up isolating ourselves, and things get much worse. So don't let that happen to you.
Yeah. And if your mom turns into a cloud, make sure she's got a weather forecast. That way she can show up with a 100% chance of love and maybe a little rain and maybe a hurricane, depending on how well you treated her that day.
Yeah. So look up at the skies this week and remember, that God's promises are just as real as the clouds that you see, even if they are llama shaped.
And maybe grab a jar of pickles while you're at it.
Why pickles?
Because nothing says I'm still here like brined cucumbers. Mmm.
I'm sure. Well, that's all we have tonight. Thank you for joining us. All of you who are watching, whether it be now when we are recording or later on, please make sure to like and subscribe and tell others that we are your favorite podcasts. Unless we're not, then just tell people we're a good podcast. At least tell them we're good. I think we're good, but I don't know. That's just me. Uh, but anyways, we as always, if you need anything, just let us know. Steve and I, we really do care about our listeners, and we just do all we can. Yeah, we want to grow this community. Yeah, we want to grow Geek Theocast, but really, it's about community. It's one of our pillars, and if we don't take care of you, well, then what's the point? So, uh, yeah, thanks for joining us. Go ahead, Steven.
All right, guys. Till next time, stay awesome, stay lovely, and until next time, Excelsior.
Excelsior.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and raid my friend Sin. He's playing some Minecraft. Um, he is not a Christian streamer at all, but we're gonna send him some love. Uh, just because he's a cool guy. He's a Navy vet, and so yeah, we support our vets here at Geek Theocast. Here we go.